All right, welcome to Grue, and thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. First of all, I have to say I love all the stuff on your wall over there. Are they
Oh,
like photos or?
so no, they're all DVD cases.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, I started a DVD collection a few months ago. I'm trying to collect. It's a big task, but I'm trying to collect every movie that I've ever watched. So this is the beginning of it. The gap in the middle is all Marvel movies that I don't have that I need to that I need to find. Um, but I tell you, Goodwill is definitely the place to go because on
Definitely.
Mondays you get dollar movies. So that was dangerous whenever I got paid and I was like, you know what? I really feel like going and getting some movies. And I'd be like, I'll only spend like $10. And then I'll see like all of the Harry Potters. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, now I gotta get them. I got but it's a fun little collection. Yeah.
Nice, nice. No, it looks good. I thought they were like posters or pictures you had up there. Look, it looks good.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a lot of tape. But
And I see you play music over there. You got a keyboard, or is that a keyboard?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm learning. It's
Okay.
nothing no Mozart or anything yet. But yeah, I started learning some like movie soundtracks. I'm a really big
Nice.
fan of Hans Zimmer. And so one of his soundtracks that like one of the first ones I ever listened to was Spirit Stallion
Okay.
and the Cimarron. And I don't know. I'm trying to learn some songs from there. Um, but it's a process. It's a process, but it's fun. I really enjoy it. It's like whenever I'm gaming with my friends and I just get like really annoyed, sometimes I'll just like go on mute and I'm like, okay, okay, this is nice. This is nice. This it's a little relaxing.
Well, if it, you might get asked to do the score of a film that you're acting in, so you never know.
Hey, hey. If I have enough time to practice, I'm all game.
So, like, what drew you to want to act? Like, when did your passion start for it?
Yeah. So it's a funny story. I started off doing musicals, plays, and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
Originally doing behind the scenes stuff. I was doing lighting, and because my brother did lighting, and I was like, oh, well, I'm trying to be like my brother. This is so cool. Um, so I started doing lighting. My sixth grade, we did High School Musical. And
Yeah.
me and one of my really good friends, we both did. I did lighting, he did sound. And whenever they were on stage, like learning dances, we were always in the booth, like doing the choreography with them. It was a fun time. Made a
Nice.
lot of really good friends that year. And they peer pressured me into auditioning for the next musical, uh, which was The Lion King. Um,
Oh, wow.
and so I ended up booking the role of Pumbaa, which is like
Nice. That's
obviously
awesome.
very big, very he's like the comedic relief. And the person who ended up booking Timon, we clicked instantly, and we're still very, very good friends to this day.
Oh, wow.
Um, but yeah, man. So I started doing that, and then I started taking it a little more seriously when I got to high school. I was the only freshman that joined our competition team. Um,
Mhm.
and it was like it was just as like a smaller part, but it was still it was cool. It was fun to learn from everybody that had been doing this for their life.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and so it was a lot of fun. Made a lot of really, really good close friends there. And then yeah, I just kept on doing musicals and plays. throughout high school. I think the the best one, the creme de la creme. Um, we did Newsies. We did Newsies my sophomore year, and we sold out every show. It was
Oh my
like
God.
it was it was so good. It was so good. And it was you could just tell the camaraderie and
Yeah,
everything from like the core group of people, and then also like having the ensemble, like it just everything just built into it, and it made this amazing little ball of wonderfulness. Um,
I
but
love it.
yeah, man. And then so then COVID hit. Um, and they hit halfway through my junior year.
Oh, that
Um,
sucks.
yeah, we were in the middle of doing rehearsals for we were gonna do Anything Goes, the musical. But unfortunately that got canceled. And
Mhm.
then I kind of had a decision. I could do Zoom plays and musicals, which wasn't really at the forefront of my acting mind. Um, or I could take a little break. So I decided to take a little break. I started working a lot, working my job.
Yeah.
Um, excuse me. And then yeah, I started looking into acting in college, and so I really wanted to get into Auburn. Um,
Oh, okay.
because they have a their musical. I really enjoyed their musical theater program. I went down and visited. Plus, my cousins live there. My aunt and uncle
Oh,
live there. So I'm like, it would be close to family. It'd be nice. Because I grew up in Virginia, so
oh,
we
okay.
didn't really see them a lot. Um, but yeah, it was I ended up getting into the program, but I got waitlisted from the college.
Ooh.
Which really sucked.
Yeah, no, I bet.
Yeah, but then I after I did that, I kind of took a step back and I was like, okay, maybe I should go into something that's a little bit more not acting. Just because like everybody was like, "Oh, you got to have a backup plan, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah,
Well, yeah, yeah.
you're right. Yeah." Um, so my dad went to Virginia Tech. My sister went to Virginia Tech. I was like, "Eh, might as well keep the tradition going." So I ended up getting into Virginia Tech and studying criminology.
Nice. Oh,
Uh,
wow.
yeah,
Okay.
a little different. But but yeah, man, it was a great time there. I met a lot of people, met a lot of really close friends that I still stay in contact with. Um I so did my freshman year there. And I was still able to audition for plays and musicals and
Mhm.
such. Um so I had auditioned for 3 plays in total while I was there. The first play, went into the audition, thought I did great, got a call back, thought I did great, didn't book it.
Oh,
Second
no.
audition, went into the audition, thought I did great, got a call back, thought I did great, didn't book it.
No.
Yeah, I know, dude. Oh. And then
No, that
I was like,
sucks.
you know what? You know what? The third one, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling good this time. Go in, do the audition. And the writer was like, "All right, well, thank you so much. We'll let you
Oh,
know
no.
in the next few days." And I was like, "Okay." So I'm starting to walk back, passing by like the student center. I have my AirPods in. I'm bumping music. Um, and I hear like very faintly like, "Ryan, stop." And I'm like, God? I'm like, I'm like, and so I take out my AirPod and I turn around and the director is running after, or no, the writer was running after me, and I was like, uh, hi, what's up? And he was like, hey, can you come back in about like an hour and a half and read for this part? Handed me some sides, and I was like,
Mhm.
yeah, sure. Um, so walked inside the student center, spent the next hour and a half religiously working on that. Um, and then walked back over. I already had like a sense of the room, so I was more
Of course.
relaxed. Um, went in, did the audition, and then I ended up getting a call back, which was the next day. Um, and so then I did the callback, and then 2 days later, I found out I ended up booking it, which
Wow.
it was it was definitely a different project than I was used to. It was a lot darker than I was used to. I was always used to being the comedic relief and like the goofy best friend and all of that kind of realm of stuff. But this was like it was a very, I'm not gonna say dark. It was, I'll say like a very resonating, like a deep kind of uh project, and
Oh.
heavy. I'll say heavy. Heavy is a good word. Um and I had to deal with suicide and stuff like that, and it was just
Oh.
it was a lot. It was a lot. We had rehearsals every single day for about 4 to 5 hours, because we had, I want to say we had month and a half, 2 months to get that ready. But all of the darkness and heaviness aside, it was an amazing experience.
That's good.
It
Good.
really helped me get back into that acting mindset. And I something just, it sounds really cheesy, but something just clicked while I was doing that, and I just knew that this is what I had to be doing. Um, so then I talked to my parents, and I was like, "Hey, hear me out here. What if I take a gap year? What if I take a gap year, move down to Atlanta? Like my brother lives down in Atlanta.
Mhm.
He's a gaffer, he's electric, like DP, like he knows people. He knows the industry. I can stay with him for a little bit, test the waters, see how it
Yeah.
goes." And they were
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, like we trust you. We know you're not super stupid. You're a guy, but I mean that's and so I they luckily I they were all good with it. So I uh started my gap year from Virginia Tech, moved down to Atlanta, and
Wow.
yeah, and I had my goals. I had my goals set. Um I moved down in May 2022.
Okay.
Um my end goal was by June 2023 I wanted to have an agent.
All right.
And so I kind of plotted it out and realized like, okay, this is what I need to get to where I want to be. And it's like, I I know that if you have a reel, you look more advantageous to agents. So
Definitely.
how do I get a reel? Okay, I need footage. Okay, can I make my own footage? Boom. My brother is a DP, cinematographer, gaffer. Like he's
Yeah. Yeah.
very good at what he does. So he helped me so much with making my own reel footage. And like I would make shorts with some of my friends, and we would use that, and it was always a good time. Just like indie filmmaking. Um, but but yeah, man, no, it was great. I ended up finishing up my reel and started submitting for agents. Um, excuse me, about mid October or early October. Um, and then I ended up signing with my current agent on October 22nd of 2022. So
Okay.
my goal was definitely met a lot earlier than I thought it would be. So yeah, I called my parents, and obviously they were very happy for me.
Of
I was very
course.
happy for myself. I'm like, oh my, whoa, this is actually, it's actually paying off. It's actually working. This is like, this is, I'm not gonna say sustainable yet, but I'm like, this is something that I can do. And so, um, yeah, it's obtainable. It's obtainable.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I was telling myself. And then so I called my parents that night. Was very happy. Next morning I called them and I'm like, "Hey, so because this is going so well, what if I just pull the plug on college?" Um,
Oh,
and they were like, well, you've met your goals. Like you've exceeded everything that you wanted to do in the
mm,
time that you're down there. And like it's obviously it's your decision. Like you're
well,
not
yeah,
we don't control what you do.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but anything you do will support you. And I was like,
Oh, wow,
it
that's so
was
awesome.
yeah, I have nothing nothing but love and praise for my parents. Um,
Ah, we-
like just as they raised me and just like as I'm growing up, I'm realizing the sacrifices and stuff that they made for me and my siblings that
yeah,
just went right over our head because we were kids.
well,
Um,
yeah, of course.
but it just like as I'm growing up and just hearing that like we trust you, you're like you got this. That just something about that is just very nice to hear. Um,
Well, yeah, especially when you're trying to break into the world, the
mhm.
world of entertainment. You need as many like family and friends behind you as possible because
Yeah.
it's a hard world to break into.
Yeah. Well, and even when you're in it, it's a lot. Um, it can definitely be a lot sometimes. It's hard to sometimes it's hard to push aside what's going on in your personal life
Yeah.
in order to be in the right headspace.
No, yeah, exactly.
Excuse me. Because it's like there have been times like a few auditions that like I had to turn down because I had I had something going on like I had a breakup or just like a lot going on in my life and my head was just going 20 different directions, but at the same time it was only going like 5 miles an hour, so it was like it was getting nowhere. Um, but so that's definitely hard to um maintain. But that's why you need your family, that's why you need your
Oh
friends
no.
there
Yeah.
supporting you. And it's like I've been fortunate enough to find a core group of guys and we all uh get along pretty well and we all help each other with auditions, help like give notes and stuff to each other. Um, yeah, and we're actually making our a short. We're producing a short that
Nice.
so that all of us can be in something together
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because we're like we all just want to act. We all just want to act together and like do stuff together with each other that like we have the oversay like the say in it.
Well, yeah, yeah,
Like yes, in an ideal world we would all book some like mega something that would all like shoot us up. But at the same time, it's like it's I feel like it's fun to just do stuff on our own.
oh,
Um,
yeah, of course.
but
Because you don't you have like the final say in
mhm,
what is gonna be shown and to to the fans. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, right now we're focusing on a short looking to be about like we're making like a proof of concept basically um
Okay.
for this short that one of my buddies Grayson Lay he came up with.
Oh yeah. Okay.
He think if you think about it, it's kind of like a teen version of the Sandlot, but they're gearheads. And so it'll be a fun project. The production design is going to be a lot of fun with that. Uh,
Nice.
but
Nice.
yeah, man. That's kind of what's been going on recently with that. That was what I spent most of this morning. I was telling you I spent the morning doing errands and doing
Yeah.
work.
Exactly.
Yeah, I woke up at like 7:30 this morning, went to a coffee shop, spent the next 3.5, 4 hours just crunching numbers and figuring out
Oh
what all
wow.
needed to happen for it.
Well, yeah, yeah, to
Yeah.
raise money and all that. Yeah,
It,
definitely.
yeah. That see, it's all fun in concept, and then you're like, okay, okay,
Mhm.
how much do we need?
Exactly.
How much
Exactly.
do we need? And so, but yeah, man, it's been a lot, but it's been fun to try and tackle that. Yeah,
As long as you're having fun with it, it's all that matters.
exactly, exactly.
And, I mean, I seen like your page, like you've done a lot of different short films, and I saw one film where you played like the the frat person, and you said you went to college. So did you ever experience the frat life?
So personally, I'm not a big drinker. I've never drank. I'm still 20 for the next few days. Um,
Yeah.
so that wasn't really my atmosphere. Um, a lot of my friends, they would go out to parties and such. Um, but I was much more of like a stay at home, watch an episode of a show, go to bed,
Okay.
something like that. Um, but I definitely heard stories. Um, yeah. Um, also another thing, I was a broke college kid. I'm like, and like as a guy, you have to like at Virginia Tech, you have to pay like stupid amount of money to get into a party. And I'm like, if I
Yeah.
don't drink and I'm broke, there is no like there's nothing for me here. Like, yes, I gotta spend a good time with my friends, but then they're all gonna disperse and I'm just gonna be there sitting on the wall, just like
All right. Why did I pay
eh,
all this money
eh.
to just stand against the wall and watch
Exactly.
everyone make a fool of themselves?
Yeah. But so that was a lot of doing that. It was a Georgia Tech project that I did, and it was a lot of it was more of like we all just spent time together and just kind
Yeah.
of bantered off of each other, ping ponged stuff, and then like they kind of just had the cameras rolling so that it was a lot more natural and it felt
Okay.
authentic rather than hey, you want this beer? I'm like, oh, well, it's not, it doesn't really, doesn't, no. But, but yeah, so not an absurd amount of experience with that, but I did have my fair share of helping drunk people inside of their dorms. Um, there was
Well, so you definitely had the frat experience then. You're helping a bunch of drunk people go back to their
yeah.
dorms.
Yeah.
And I see besides doing like filmmaking and acting, you also do photo shoots too. I saw like your headshots and modeling and all that. And would you love about that side of the world, the modeling world?
So I haven't really been a big model since about my 2-year-old photo shoot. I was holding like a little biplane, and that was probably the best picture you ever see of me. Um, no, but I so a lot of like a lot of the shoots that I do are for headshots and
Okay.
for like to better my acting career. Personally, I've never like I don't see myself as a model or anything like that. I'm like I just that's not my realm that I'm used to.
Oh, all
Um
right. Okay.
but I mean, hey, if someone asks me to, I'm like, hey, I'll do it. But yeah, man. My I've done all of my headshots with this guy down in Atlanta. His name's Joe Funk, and I to like if anyone asks me, hey, I'm looking for a headshot. Like I know you do acting stuff. Like what do you recommend? I will always recommend Joe Funk. I will
Oh, wow.
always
Okay.
recommend Joe Funk. He has the best experience, and this isn't just a plug for him. This is this is me talking as my experience with it. Um, like first time I went in, I had absolutely no idea what I wanted, no
Mhm.
idea what to look for. Um, we set up a Zoom consultation, and he kind of walked me through like, hey, like, okay, so he taught me basically that headshots aren't like you can have a great picture, but it
Yeah.
won't be the best headshot because yeah, well, it's like it's fun, it's funny, but it's like um it's true because it's like you have some of these actors that'll do like the same pose or like the same
True. True.
facial expression with every
True.
single headshot. And it's like you like tap through and it's like five of them and you're like, brother, come on, like switch it up a little. Um it's like so it's like you want to each headshot you want to switch it up a little. And it's like you want
Yeah.
to go into it with an idea of like of I'm not going to say like a character, but like the type of roles that you want to be portraying. Like if you want like a jock role, go in with like a Letterman or something like that, and where it's like it's only gonna. Oh, I guess you can't really say it. It's like it's only gonna like cut off like right here, but it's like it's still it helps you get in that headspace and like you want to have expressions like you're a jock, um,
Definitely.
kind of like
Definitely.
that. But yeah, man, I it's the hair and makeup is definitely something that still trying to learn. Because it's like I I started growing out my hair. Um, I want to say August of last year. Just because I was like, I so someone had said that like, oh, you should start growing out your hair. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, I'll give it a whirl, why not? And it was during the strike. I'm like, if it looks bad, I'll just chop it off.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And so it's like beforehand, I used to have like my haircut. Think of it like have you seen the Lego movie?
Yes. Yes.
Think of it like Emmett's haircut. It was like super short. You could just like pop it off, look, and it was like pop it off, put a little baseball hat on. You didn't even see the hair. It was yeah. Um, but since then it's like I've been growing it out. So I've been learning how to take care of it, which is I'm still learning. Um, but like I did some headshots with Joe a few weeks ago, and the person that was helping me out with hair, her name was Hillary. She I don't know, she was like just doing stuff. I was like, obviously she knew way more than I did, and I trusted her. I'm like, hey, you got this. Um, and she was just doing stuff, and it looked good. Like I was like, I don't know how to do that, but like, so as long as someone else is doing my hair, hey, I am all good. I'm like, if you want me to do my hair, do not trust me. It will not look good.
Well, I mean, you got very very nice hair, so
Well, thank you.
whatever you're doing to it is working too.
Well, so my routine usually I do a little brush back. If I'm feeling it, I'll put a little product in it just to make sure it stays back. Like if I have to go to
Gotcha,
work,
gotcha.
then I'll have it back. Um, but dude, when I wake up, I tell you, sometimes like my hair looks like a little truffula trees from the Lorax. It's just like twirling up here, a puffball over here, a spike over here. It's just like it's literally straight out of a Dr. Seuss book. And so yeah, definitely eh, with bedhead it's different now where I can't just like wake up, wet a comb and just whoosh, okay, I'm good.
True,
Like
true.
I actually have to put time into it. Which
Oh, that's funny. And I guess the last thing that I will ask you is like, where could fans follow you at? And is there anything coming up for you that you want to plug?
Yeah, man. So my Instagram, if you want, it's Ryan Holcomb, but the O is a zero. It's like Ryan H0 LCOMB. Um, and then I also do like my own photography and stuff. I do film photography.
Oh,
Um,
wow, that's awesome.
so if you want Ryan's cool pictures on Instagram, um, all one word. Um, But yeah, man, stuff coming up. I wrapped on a feature, my first feature that I did back in March. We did a few pickup days in April, but we finished it. We finished principal photography in March. It's called
Nice.
Gander Man. We're gonna be shipping that out to festivals and stuff.
Okay.
Hopefully, to the best of my knowledge, in the next few months, we'll be excuse me, we'll be putting that out. But yeah, man, I just wanted to touch on that for a minute. On Gander Man, I was it was the first. I know you have stuff going on, so
Oh no, no,
I want
no,
to be
no. You're
sensitive of
right.
your time. But I um so if I'm talking too much, just cut me off because I know I
No,
can
that's
ramble and
good.
and it just goes and goes
It's
and goes.
all good.
Okay, okay, cool, cool, cool. Um, but yeah, man, Ganderman, a starting at the beginning, the first project that I did when I moved down here was called Left to Rot. It was a SCAD thesis film that my now good friend Tom Von Dolen, he was directing, he was casting, writing, everything. This was his baby. This was his passion project. Um, and he raised money for it and everything. We got cast. Um, and a lot of the crew that we're making the shop with,
Mhm.
like half of us were in Left to Rot together. It was
Nice.
like a Boy Scout troop uh horror comedy.
Okay,
Kind of
nice.
like a monster flick also. Um but yeah, that was a lot of fun. I made a really good connection with Tom there and just talking with him and everything. It was a great experience. So that happened in June June 2022. And then he reached out to me in October of 2023. And it's like we'd stayed in touch, like we would meet up and get lunch or something every now and then. Um, but he reached out to me and was like, "Hey, can you stop by the studio for a little bit? Like I just want to talk to you real quick." And I was like, "Yeah, sure." Um, so I I go over, um, and he's telling me about this project about Ganderman, and it's like it's so outlandish and funny, and it's like it's just it sounded really really fun, and I was like, "Man, I would love to be a part of this." Like in my head, I'm thinking that, and and he said he's talking. He's like, yeah, we auditioned a few people for this. But I realized that like while I was writing it, like there was no one other to do it other than Ryan Holcomb, and I was like, I was like, what? And like, I was like, I was in the conversation, but now I was like in the conversation. Um, and I was just like, what? And he was telling me, he's like, yeah, um, it's gonna be you'd be like the lead in the feature.
Oh my
Um,
God.
it would be it basically outlined a lot of it, gave me a little bit more of the synopsis,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I was in awe. I didn't know what to do. I was like I was sitting there in my swivel chair, just like going back and forth. Um, and I just after he finished, I start like I had like a single tear come down because I was like, this was during the strikes. There
Yeah.
wasn't a lot going on, and this just like it brightened my day. And this was also like I had some personal stuff going on in that moment, just like relationship wise.
Oh,
And so it's like I was not really in a good spot. Um, but by him bringing that up, that just like everything washed away. And it was like, I get to act with one of my friends. And
yeah, exactly.
that was all I needed. Like, yes, like I was like, hey, if you want to pay me, that's fine. But I'm like, this was, I would definitely, it was, anyways. So I had to do a lot of prep for that. I held myself to a high standard to be prepared for it and everything because it was a lot of I mean it was a 120 page script. Um
Oh, okay.
we uh we shot 120 pages in 12 days.
That
Um,
that's very impressive.
yeah, and I've seen some of the footage. Obviously, like I don't want to see all of it until it's completed. Like he was like, yeah, I can send you your footage if you want. But I'm like, I really want to, but at the same time, I I would love the experience of watching this with everyone else.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and so, but I've seen the footage and it looks good. And that's not just me saying that because I'm like, because I'm in it. Um, but it genuinely looks good. We got a lot of everyone in it was local Atlanta, and
Okay.
it was it was the most fun I've ever had on a project, hands down. There was so much improv involved, and so it's like
Nice.
it felt very authentic and it felt very real, and it was so good. It was like I could go on and on and on and on. Um, but it was just, man, it was it was fun, but it was a lot
Well, yeah,
because
yeah. I mean, you shoot all that work in 12 days, of
yeah,
course.
yeah. Well, and it's like a lot of my stuff was monologues. And so
Gotcha.
there would be some days where it's like I would have to shoot 2 to 3 monologues that day. And one of them might be a page and a half.
Hmm.
And I'm like, well, so that being in that mentality, it helped me figure out like an actual acting process rather than being like, I don't know, just like how I would do it before, where I was like, okay, I learned the lines, I know my intentions, I'm doing it. And that's just how I did it because it was easy. Um, but after doing a lot of research into this character, I like every time that we improved or anything, it felt so real and so grounded, even though like
Hmm.
the topic that we were talking about was very, very over the top and outlandish. But it was I was gonna say something else, but I completely forgot what I was gonna say. But it was one of the best experiences that I think I've ever had, filming that. And like, yes, it got to the point where I remember what I was gonna say. Um, there was one day, it was a long day for me. It was like I'm pretty sure I was in every scene. Um, and we started the day off with a monologue and we ended the day with a monologue. And the last monologue was a very heavy scene.
Hmm.
Very, very emotional. I had to there was a lot of emotion with it. Um, and I had found out some family stuff that was going on um earlier, like that day, like maybe 30 minutes before we shot that final scene.
Oh, wow.
And it was like while I was trying to learn this page and a half, 2-page monologue of some very serious things. And it some of what was happening in my real life mirrored into what the monologue was about. And so after I found out about like what was happening in my real life, I couldn't memorize the words. I just couldn't do it. And so I walk up to Tom and I'm like, Tom, I'm going to be very honest with you. I don't know if I can do this. I know the gist of it. I can spitball, but I cannot get this word for word. And he's like, "Oh, dude, don't worry about word for word. We want you." And we just talked for a little bit, and um, I I ended up crying a little bit just because I had a lot of stuff going on in my mind, and he said, he's like, what are you worried about? And I was like, I'm scared I'm not giving 100%.
Hmm.
And he just kind of chuckled a little bit, and I'm like, Tom, what are you I'm like, um and he said, 100% isn't 100%. 100% is whatever you can give. And so hearing him say that, it locked me in. And then we did that scene. We did it one take. It was I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do it again. Um, just because there were a lot of tears with it. And
Yeah, definitely.
um, but it was we ended up getting it, and the producer ended up texting me the next day, and it was like, dude, I just watched the dailies from yesterday. Good job. And I was like, oh, thank you. So that was heartwarming. But but yeah, man, Ganderman coming out sometime soon.
Okay.
Um, yeah, man. Check out your local film festival for it. No.
Definitely.
But yeah. Uh other thing that's coming up, my buddy Lion Way. We were both taking a road trip out to LA, out there for the month of August, to kind of test the waters. We've both never been out there, so we're like, well, we might as well make as many connections and network and
Oh yeah.
test the pool as much as we want. So we're leaving in 2 weeks. Wow.
Awesome, buddy.
Whoa.
Awesome.
I just hit. Um, but yeah, man, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. Stay tuned to my Instagram for a lot of updates, a lot of cool pictures and everything. Um, but yeah, man, that's kind of what's been going on, or what's about to be going on. I
Well, thank you so much for coming on and doing this and telling me about your film life and your life.
Yeah,
I
man.
It was really fun meeting you. Thank you, man.
Yeah, man. No, thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Definitely, bud. Definitely. Well, good luck with your trip coming up, and have a great weekend.
Thanks, man. Yeah, no, you as well.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, I'll see you, man.